Hey there, I am Floris, and in this video I want to talk about one of the features from the CMI plugin. This is a premium resource that offers a dynamic variety of features, and it will help you better operate and manage your Spigot or paper servers. By the way, all the links about the stuff we talk about can be found in the description of this video. And if you like this video and you think it was helpful to you, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. In this video I want to show you how to download the premium plugin CMI and getting it running on your server. There are a few things to consider, for example the CMI library and the first restart. I also have an article that goes through these steps. It's more detailed and is on my GitHub page. I will make sure that I link it in the description of this video. If you have any questions, you're always free to join the Discord of CRIPS. He has a channel there for CMI help where the community members are happy to assist you with any installation questions that you might have. Well, step one, I'm actually going to skip because I've already bought it, but step one is to buy the premium plugin. You can find it on Spigot, and I will also link it down below in the description. But once you have purchased it and it went through successful, then the download button should be right here. So click it and it should start the download, and it will put a .jar file into your downloads directory. If you would check the overview page on this release, it has a lot of information. But one of the things that you have to consider is the CMI library. It is required for all CRIPS plugins like Jobs and Mob Farm Manager and stuff like that, but also CMI. So we have to go and get this as well. And always make sure when you upgrade CMI to check if CMI library has a newer version. I think it should auto install it if it can't find it. I personally always download it. I want to make sure that I have all the files that I need. Additionally, if you have a Bungie network, then get the Bungie file, and if you want to run CMI as an economy manager, that you have the recompiled file, which I already have. And otherwise, if you have an existing fault file, then you can get the CMI injector. And if you want to use the CMI chat manager, you don't need an additional file, but you do have to configure the CMI plugin a little bit. But for now, we're going to focus on just getting CMI on the server and getting it running using the CMI library file. Okay, so we have the two files downloaded. They are in my download directory. And whether you are using it locally or on a remote server, the next step is to get it to your server. So here is my awesome server, and I have a plugins directory, and it's very possible that you have a bunch of plugins there already. So either you locally put it in the correct directory, or with an FTP client you can put it online somewhere or through a control panel, but it goes into the plugins directory of your server. And once the files are there, you can go and start it from your control panel. I am going to go into the command line interface and change to the directory of my awesome server and use my own method to start it, which should run my server with the latest paper jar I like. I prefer paper over Spigot at this point for 1.18.2. And with 1.19 I'll probably keep using paper as well. So this is the first time it's running, and you will see that it is creating all sorts of stuff. It will have the big header here. It will detect that you're using paper and lock perms for your permission manager. It will create any tables that it needs to create. It will say that fault was found, but we didn't have the economy engine yet. So all of that stuff is something to consider. It's always invited to read the latest .log file, or at least what I do keep an eye on the console as things are running. It will tell you if placeholder API was registered and all that sort of stuff. It's downloading all the files and no errors. So if we type PL, we will actually see that CMI and CMI library and fault are all green. So now we could start and log in into the server, but I strongly recommend to finish the installation first by just typing stop and then starting the server again. This way it's not a first time installation. Now we can actually see what happens when we start the server as if we would start it the next million times. Any errors from the installation should show up in red. You can see there's a lot less info, but fault is still red. And that's not really an error, it's just an indication that the economy engine isn't running. We can now do CMI version. You can also type this in-game, and it will tell you that CMI economy is disabled and that the chat is also disabled. So technically, that's all there is to it. You download the jar files that you need to run CMI. You put it in the plugins directory, the correct directory where all the plugins are. It will create all the databases and files and configuration files, the translation files. It will create all of that stuff. It will download anything that it needs, like the language files. And if there are any errors, it will tell you. And if everything goes okay, then it should sort of look like this. That's it. You could go into the server now with your client and start using all the CMI specific commands. And to learn about those, you can go to crips.net, where there is a CMI drop-down menu with all the features there. There's an FAQ, there are portals, placeholders, rank up system, kits, a list of all the commands, but also things like custom commands, attach commands, interactive commands, specialized commands. There are obviously extra features such as the scheduler, things like the tab list. There's even an elevator feature. So it's totally worth checking out the website. It will also have the link to the Discord where the community is ready to give you some help if they have the answer to your question. Okay, a quick little start. Because we want to use CMI as a chat manager as well and as economy manager, we can go into the configuration file. And I'll show you again where that is. The configuration file is on your server, plugins directory for CMI, and then the config file. And it's a really big file. So there are thousands of things to read and configure. But economy and chat are usually the two things that people really want. So economy enabled, true. And then we have to search for chat. Here's the chat, modified chat format, true. And that's it. We can now do a CMI reload. And if we do version this time, you'll see that CMI economy is enabled and the CMI chat is also enabled. And there are a few more specifics. You can change the format of the chat, or you can configure how the CMI economy has to behave, but I'll leave that for a different video. Right now we are done. You can stop the server, you can run the server forever if you want, but we are done. We now have a lot of files. We can have custom aliases. We can configure what the rules and the welcome text is going to be. There are settings for dev messages and customized homes interfaces. You can even change the language or add your own if you want. There is so much here, and it will take a little bit of time to learn everything, but that is okay. Your server is going to be pretty dynamic, pretty flexible because of this CMI plugin. It will help you manage players and the chat, the economy, and everything on it, and help you out a lot instead of having to run 20 different plugins that hardly communicate with each other. Now you got a nice solution for it all. So don't get too overwhelmed. Check out the website with all the information, and otherwise ask on Discord what to do or where to find what, and we will probably have an answer for you. Installing CMI is very simple. Once again, get the jar files, make sure it's the latest version, and make sure that your server version is Spigot or Paper and at least the latest build for the latest version. For example, right now that's 1.18, and keep an eye on the startup log. It will disclose what might potentially go wrong. Best of luck running CMI. I hope everybody has fun with it. I know I do, and leave a like, a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.